He changed the name to drop down.
Come on!
Right, hello. Welcome to another edition of Proper Football, our weekly live show. I hope you're all doing well. Loads to talk about this week, loads of international action and things to pick up from earlier in the week. But let's first of all bring on our panel. We've got Mr. Gary Harris. How you doing, Gary? You're in the other chair today. And how you keeping, mate? All right?
Yeah, not bad. Good, thank you.
Good. Hello, yeah. Nigel. How are you, mate?
Hello.
You had a couple of weeks off, mate? Bit of a pre-season training?
Yeah, I was getting hammered last week.
No, good to see you back, mate. And right, we'll just crack it straight into it, eh? Just also, anyone watching just yet, just share the stream if you can, and just get us out far and wide. Right, so let's go back to last Sunday, National League playoff final, Grimsby against Solihull Moors. Great result of Grimsby, come back from 1-0 down, won it 2-1. Like they've done all the way through the playoffs in the National League, and even this season they had a bit of a slow start, but they've come through. So fair play to them. We've got a little video to show you them, and this is them celebrating their triumph. Right, where are we? They're on the coach and they're having a little dig at their local rival Scunthorpe. Yep, great for the town there. And Scunthorpe unfortunately gone down the other way. They've dropped down to the National League, so they won't be having their little rivalry next season. But did any of you two watch that game? That's the playoff final.
I watched the extra time. I forgot I could get it on. Can't say how because it's illegal. But anyway,
same as me.
I watched the extra time because I was thinking, I wonder what the score, and I thought I can watch it, you mug. Yeah. And went on. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, what fantastic support. When you think of last week when I was doing the show alone, I touched on obviously the cost of tickets to get in, the fact that they were being expected to travel into London on the Jubilee weekend, meaning London was just sort of a bit congested in many ways, and yet the support that I see for both clubs, in fairness, but I've got to say the Grimsby support. There's something like 30,000 there.
Yeah, great turnout. Such a long distance.
Huge support. Yeah, so
good to see him go back up. And I don't know if I'm right in saying, is it the first team to go straight back up after coming down, or one of very few?
I'm sure. Didn't Bristol Rovers do it?
Yep, they could have done. I might have to ask Simon about that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you see any of it, Nigel? Did you?
No, I was just catching up on Sky Sports News because I was doing my stream at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember Grimsby are probably one of the only grounds that I played at that was possibly worse than the baseball ground for mud. I got a couple of viewers on my streams that are Grimsby fans, so they were quite pleased that night.
Yeah. I mean, they championship side, well, old second division. I always remember Palace playing them back in the 80s. They're a big club, aren't they? They're not.
Do you know what fascinates me? And I put this to you, and obviously Nigel, obviously won a ground. Well, where Graham Taylor started his one of his career moves, wasn't it? Grimsby. He played at Grimsby, didn't he? Graham Taylor.
Lincoln. Was it Lincoln?
I'm sure he played for Grimsby.
Same neck of the woods.
We'll have to have a look it up. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure he played for Grimsby when the short period he had in his playing career. But anyway, I'll be honest, I come across Grimsby a few times, and what is really startling to me is the size of their support now to what it wasn't back in the 80s. I remember, them playing at Watford. I think we were pretty much in the playoffs, and I'm trying to think which playoffs it was, whether it was 99 or 2007. It might have been 99. And we were playing Grimsby last game of the season, obviously a massive game for Watford. And mate, they'd be lucky if they had about 50 supporters there. And then I went along and watched the franchise club, Milton Keynes, play them in the Paint Rover, whatever it is at Wembley. And to be fair, they probably only had about 7,000 or 8,000 there. So, and I noticed this with their away support as well. They've gone down, and it's almost like the
rejuvenated them,
galvanised the people of Grimsby by going into non-league football. Because I honestly believe, and if there's any Grimsby fans watching this, maybe you could back me up a bit. Because honestly, from what I've seen in the past, your support's bigger now than what it was back then. And I just wonder whether, in adversity, the people of Grimsby have galvanised behind the club, and now they've got fantastic support.
Yeah. There we go. We've got a Grimsby fan on here. Neil Snowy actually sent that video into us. Neil, thanks for that, mate.
It'd be interesting to get your feedback on what I just said. I mean, all right, I'm going back maybe 20 odd years ago on my example of you guys at Watford, the Freight Rover Trophy thing where you played Milton Keynes. Your support seems bigger now.
Yeah, Gary.
Would you agree?
Who just said this? Nigel Thompson. Grimsby sold 1,500 season tickets in 24 hours, plus kid season tickets under 14 for 50 quid. That was just since the final. So that's great.
Yeah,
that's in the day. So
what sort of crowds were they getting before they got to the final?
I think we've been reporting their crowds. I think
they've had fantastic away support.
I mean, because you're always going to get a bigger crowd at playoff final, aren't you? Supporters that don't normally go to the game will get on the bus, and that'll be an occasion for them. So, hopefully, good following next year.
Yeah. No, they've had that. Nigel, they've had a fantastic away support. I know that.
Yeah. I definitely remember playing them back in the old second division with Palace.
Yeah. I genuinely think, I mean, like maybe the last few years I've not really noticed them, so maybe the support has grown. But I just wonder if it is from adversity that the city's got behind them, because, like I say, for me, they weren't nowhere near got the level of support that I'm seeing now back in the day. That's my view anyway.
No.
And the ground is, one to behold, isn't it, Nigel? I must admit, I've been there a couple of times.
I went there. I loved it there. I thought it was all right. Many moons ago.
Oh, yeah. It's a great traditional ground, mate. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Wayne, best away support I've ever seen. Oh, no, West. Okay. I thought it was,
hello to Wayne there, Baggy's fan. Hello to Dave, out to Nicky. Not sure if someone's spamming us here, but yeah. So, some good comments here. But well done to Grimsby, and hopefully Solymore can kick on again next season and maybe try and get up another West Midlands club in there. But they've had a good season as well, really, compared against some of the massive big boys in that league.
Do you know? I think the National League and non-league in general have had a great season this year.
It's been brilliant. We've said the argument before: 3 should go up, 3 should come down. But then someone said, "Well, it ruin the playoffs." But you have 2 up automatically and still keep the playoffs, because it go right down to as it is now, down to 7th, isn't it, or 8th? Is it? So
it's just quite a long-winded playoff process, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of people moan just as a money maker, but the playoff just gone. They were brilliant. Every 5-4, wasn't it? Wrexham, Grimsby. There's some great games. Grimsby were involved in all of it, 2-1 away Notts County with 2 late goals, wasn't it? But right.
Who's this geezer Brandwatch?
I don't know. I think he's.
Could we not block it? Like, he's just coming up. He's advertising for some YouTube thing. every time someone makes a comment, he's just coming on.
Yeah, good point.
Can we just block it?
Excuse me, Mr. Bramwatch. It
I
probably
didn't
ain't even a person, it's a robot, isn't it?
Yeah,
It'd be a robot.
How do I block
Yeah,
it?
you should be able to block it.
At the block list on YouTube. There we go. See you later. He's gone.
Yeah, no, that's a robot.
We need a red card there.
That's it. Play the red card.
Well done,
Nigel. On the stream all the time, mate.
Yeah, they're a nightmare, aren't they? They're a nightmare. Right, so cracking on early in the week, then we had Wales against Ukraine. Now that was Scotland obviously found it tough against Ukraine, but they just wasn't very good with the old occasion and all that. But fair play to Wales, done a good job, didn't they? I don't know if you saw that game, Nigel, did you? But the 1-0 deflected chance from Gareth. I'll play it now. This is on our YouTube channel. It's on our fans. There's goals on fan cams. It's a bit of a mouthful. Here we go.
Cool, he got a bit excited, didn't he?
He's had to wait 64 years for that, though, hasn't he? Is that how long it's been since?
The Sheik suffered. Anyway.
Yeah, we know all our Welsh listeners.
The goalkeeper for Wales was outstanding.
Hennessy.
Ukraine, on the second half performance, they should have won that.
Yeah.
It was back to the wall for Wales second half, but it was a difficult one, and it was a nice gesture that all the Wales players went over to the Ukraine fans and give them a round of applause. And it was probably Wales against the world, weren't it?
it was. I think it's in the day though. It's sport. It's not a political. We'll get onto that stuff later about political interference, but it's a sport. And someone made a good point. I listened to him the other day, and he said, to be honest, it's the emotional side from people outside Ukraine. If Ukraine get the World Cup or not, the people who are out in Ukraine at the minute, it's not really going to affect them at all. They've got bigger things, obviously, on their mind at the minute. And it's would have been a lovely story, but it's sport, isn't it, at the end of the day?
When you go out onto that pitch, no matter who you're playing for, no matter what division you're in, you want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple as a footballer, you want to win every game.
Yeah.
I think last week I touched on the Scottish situation, and I'm looking maybe try and get Mark Smythe back on, who played for Motherwell and St Mirren and Elgin and the like, and have a discussion about Scottish football, because I think it was a bit of a disaster of a night for them, because
massive,
in fair play to Ukraine, and you know what, they were going to play their socks off. But this is a side that's done very little training, had no games. Scotland at home. Sorry, but they should have really done better. But like say Ukraine, they're playing for the pride of their country and everything else, which shone through a little bit, like you said, Nigel, in the second half against Wales. They were phenomenal,
Yeah, got some good players. Talking to Wales, though, they unlucky against Holland last night, lost 2-1 last minute. But I looked at the Welsh team and I put it up on our page. They had an average age of 24. A really young, youthful squad. I think it was probably their second string, but they got they got a bright future, Wales, I think. And I think that Gary Speed, God rest him, I think he sort of started, he kicked the ball going there. He got the ball rolling with Wales, didn't he? Changed everything behind the scenes and got them more professional, I think. So look, respect.
Rob Page there in charge. I mean, he's not got any major managerial background, has he? Maybe assistant managers and whatnot. Obviously, he skippered Watford back in the late 90s, and he's obviously doing a good job. Yeah,
I think he's been lucky in a way that he's taken the national job on, because if he'd have taken a league club on, like Premier League club or something like that, I mean, you're basically in the hot seat straight away. You don't get any time to settle in. And with the internationals, you've got quite a big gap in between each sort of set of games that you play. So he's probably been given time to bed himself in and get used to the way things are run at international level. And and he's took to it well. It's fair play to him.
Yeah, definitely.
And they got a good experience as well with Bale, Ramsey. They got a good blend, I think. Wales. I think they could give us. Well, we're going to touch on England next. But
they've got a good blend, didn't they? Good blend of experience and young's coming through.
Where do you think Bell's going to end up then? Is he? I mean, I know there's a lot of talk of him going to Cardiff. Not sure going into Championship will be his best move.
Do you know what? I came back from working abroad, and I was obviously carrying a bit of timber, and I played for a team called Burrowash Fix in Derby, and they were way below sort of conference level on that. And I told him that I'd play in the reserves, and the manager couldn't believe it. Someone who's played standard football has played that when he played in the reserves, and it was simply basically I needed to get 90 minutes match fit to me. So I can understand where Gareth Bale's going, because if he goes into the Premier League, is he going to get played every week? Probably no. Goes into a Championship side, he's probably going to start more games than he would in the Premiership, and that's the most important thing for him now. He's done it all at the top level. Now he wants the World Cup. The World Cup's his number one priority. So,
he's only 30. Was he 31, 32? He's not.
Yeah, he don't need to win things in the Premiership. He's done it all.
No. A good point someone made, Newcastle fan. They said, would you fancy him going there? And he went, well, yeah, but he said, but I don't want him just coming here just so he's getting fit for the World Cup and he'll be off. Which I think he done at Tottenham, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think Newcastle will be the right move for him.
I'd have him at Palace. So he's going to have big, massive wages, isn't he?
It depends, doesn't it? I mean, Cardiff are not going to have him if he's going to expect big money. So I'm guessing he's prepared. I mean, let's face it, he don't need the money, does he? Surely.
No.
He don't need the money. So I'm sure if he goes to Cardiff, he ain't going to be bankrupting him, is he?
It's all going to matter on whether he's going to get match play. That's going to be his number one priority. And you can train as hard as you want, but if you haven't got match fitness, which is getting 90 minutes on the pitch, you're never going to get to that level training off the pitch on your own with your teammates. You've got to have match fitness, which means playing full games.
Yeah, I think it would be like one emotional moves where it'd be back to Wales, to Cardiff, or possibly Southampton, where he started out and he made his name. Maybe I don't know how he's left on good terms there. I think he did, but maybe a move back there. That's not a bad fit for.
He's good enough for any Premiership team at the moment, but it's the minutes he needs playing time. And so if Palace said to him, "Come and join us, we'll give you as much play time as we can." Yeah, just providing you stay fit and stuff like that. Then it might be that he wants to go into the Premiership. But I think the main thing with him is he needs to get the matches in. Yeah,
100%. Maybe even a move to Scotland as well. Rangers like Ramsey did. I don't know. Not sure, but I think Wales things are looking quite healthy, which brings you on to England. Now, did you both watch the Hungary? Do they both games together? Hungary. And the game against the Germans. I mean, I've been on Southgate's back, even back to when the Croatia game was back. What was that? 2018 World Cup. I just don't think he's the man for the job. I think he's too cautious. His in-game management is his biggest problem for me. He's too slow to react. He got outmanaged by Mancini. And I know the counter argument is, well, he's taken us to a World Cup final. He's took us to a semi-final. But I just don't think he cuts the mustard for me. Lovely fella, but not for me.
I'm the same with you, mate.
Can't stand him, mate. I can't stand him.
All the games in the Euros, when we went 1-0 up and we were looking like we started bright, we got 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden it was like, let's defend the 1-0. I mean, every time we see him going front with England, he seems to want them to defend it. And that's the negative. Centre back here. And I'm with you. I don't think he's going to take this team any further. Like the saying in the papers today, he seems to be stuck in this. You almost know what his first team 11 are going to be.
Because he did start his best team, didn't he, against Germany? I think, other than Foden being injured.
On paper, without a doubt, I've got to be honest with you. On paper, that looks like a really strong side to what he could play. Yeah, and they didn't set the world on fire, did they?
No.
Grealish changed it when he came on,
mate. Mate, I was having this argument through the Euros when I was on UK Casuals with Matty Nash and Martin King, rest his soul, And I was having this argument every show. We had this argument. We did a show directly after every game.
Yeah.
And, mate, everything. It was like, why is he not playing Grealish? Why is Grealish not coming on? And it's like, he had, look, they had, in both the World Cup and in the Euros, they had the easier of the runs. There's no doubt.
Oh, he's had luck.
They had
definitely.
the easier the run-ins with Cheltenham. And England, you know, they have got a good side there. You can't deny it. They're a good side. And compared to a lot of clubs, you know, they on paper, they should win. You know, but it's like what you're saying, you know, it doesn't play expansive football. You know, Grealish, I'm not just on about Grealish, but that type of player, you know, bring someone on who's going to create chances, going to attack them, going to run with the ball, going to have a go at them.
Because
cautious.
Mason Mount plays that role behind, but he just seems too robotic. Great player, but he's not that flair. Like a Maddison would be a great fit. He's upset Southgate, and Foden even in behind, or even who's the other guy we just said, Grealish. But Matt, you could see Gary Kane. I know he dropped deep. He was almost in the left back position the other night. He must get frustrated. But these are the comments because I put a post up after the England game the other night, and these are some comments we got back, some feedback. Southgate is the FA's dream, cheap media, pleasing, box ticking, yes man. With the amount of talent available to him, I'm sure the rest of the world hope his reign continues.
Actually, it's one of them comments saying that he's a cheap op. No, mate, Roger St. John Smythe, whoever you are, mate, do you know how much he earns? He got a pay rise up to about £9 million a year.
Yeah.
He ain't cheap.
No.
Trust me, Roger, he's not cheap, mate.
Yeah. Another one, he has his favourites.
But not cheap.
What annoyed me about it, the Grealish situation, was when he got in the England squad and he was playing for Villa, he weren't getting a look in. As soon as City buy him for 100 million, Southgate starts him. So if he weren't good enough for Villa, how come he's good enough for... Yeah.
And Maguire. I mean, there's so much wrong, and I'm sure the players must feel it. He's been there 6 years now, 7 years maybe. I'm sure the players. I've got no proof of it, but they must be talking between themselves, going, "It's just the same old boring churning stuff." And this one of these other comments that come up here. I can find it now if I can get it. There we go. Another, I mean, some other guy just said England fans always blame their manager. Maybe some of your players get made look better than they really are at the club level. I don't believe that. But this one here we go. Oh, yeah, you'll have to tell me I have no interest, sadly, in any team that kneel to the BLM and won't be watching the Winnie World Cup in some backward despot country. I mean, that's another feeling. And I mean, again, this Gary, I've put the thing up the top there. It's this Southgate's honeymoon period over. I don't think it's helped him with all the other stuff going on, all the other campaigns. He's like a diplomat and a spokesperson for all these other social justice causes, which is getting on a lot of people's nerves, not because they don't believe in the causes, but just because it's not got part of it's not football, it's not what we love. And I think that everyone's just turned on him so quick because all of that comes with it, and that must be taking his focus off of what he's doing, because he's talking about it.
It's interesting, Dan. Just pop that up for a second. There was a comment in the bottom corner. Let me just pick up on that one. England. Okay, yeah. So this is Steve Burns. England fans always blame their manager. I presume with Burns night you're a Scot, mate, and I'm sure you've got every qualification to talk about quality football. Maybe some of your players get made to look better than they really are at club level by others around them. England fans always blame. Okay, Stephen, I'll be honest with you, on this occasion, I do agree with you. It's all right, mate, you can take it off now. I do agree. You know, I think we do jump, but then is that not the trend of every supporter at every level of football? The manager takes the brunt at the beginning. But I think on this occasion, our arguments are that he's not playing. He doesn't play. He plays a very defensive style of football. Doesn't play very expansive football. He's got some quality attacking players that he has on the bench, and in some cases probably doesn't play them enough. And that's the argument. So yeah, people are arguing about the style of play. You're not hearing them argue about the quality of player. I think the players week in, week out play at the top level. I think it's as Stephen pointed out, maybe the players are being made to look better because of the quality of play they plays around them. I get that point. So I guess what he's saying, chaps, is that because maybe they're surrounded by world-class players from all over the world, when they're playing for their Man Cities and the like on a Saturday and a Sunday and a Monday and a Thursday and all the shit times that they play football these days, maybe what he's referring to is the fact that maybe our England players aren't as good as what we think. It's just they're made to look a lot better by the quality of world players.
I'll tell you what else he is, Gary.
To see what he's saying a little bit there.
He's being made to look better. They're being made to look better by world-class managers.
So are we looking at our England team players and maybe they're not the top world-class quality? It's the people around them when they're playing at their club level. That's what I think he's trying to say.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you not think that if you had Klopp or Guardiola taking the England side, that we'd be a better side? We've got good players in the England squad. We're not far behind all the others. We've got good players.
Southgate wouldn't get a job in the top half of the Premier League. Not even the Premier League, I don't think. I wouldn't take him at Palace, even though he's a Palace legend. He's just not. He's done Middlesbrough. What did he do? He didn't do anything, did he? Really of note. Done well the under-21s.
He's negative all the time.
Just how he plays. He's a very cautious player.
Mate, in one word, you summed it up, Nigel. He's negative. He's negative. He is negative. That's it.
You just know that when we go 1-0 up, we're going to defend the lead. We don't go for the juggling and go, let's go 2-0 up, 3-0 up, and prove what a good side we are. We seem to go 1-0 up, and then they have to defend. And as a player, if you let them play in your half 45 minutes inside your half, you're going to concede eventually. Yeah. And that's what happens. We let the teams back in. They get the equaliser, they get the backs up, and we end up losing the matches.
Yeah. And it's not a bad philosophy of playing if that's your style of team and the players you've got at your hand. Like Greece in the Euros when they won it many years ago, they wasn't the greatest team, but they played their strength. Big man up front, got the lead, won the game. But we've got world class forwards, we've got top midfielders. So there's no need to play that way. No, you're totally right, Nigel. Totally right.
Yeah, who we got next? Italy. Behind closed doors at Wolverhampton Wanderers, haven't we, at Molineux?
Saturday night. I think there's a few kids getting in, isn't there? There we go. We've got another comment coming here from Mike Pesmore, I believe it is. Passmore, West Ham fan, box of it. Evening, you're right. We've got the attacking players to threaten any of the top sides. We have. Yeah. We have. Greg, new member of Proper Football. He was on a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully be with us in a couple of weeks after his move's finished. But he said Southgate should be nowhere near the England job. He is one-dimensional. Unfortunately, Southgate is the FA's yes man and puppet of results and continue to be okay. He won't go anywhere. No, I mean, he's nowhere near getting the sack yet. He'll be here for the tournament. I mean, what we're talking about now is probably pointless. Because
you are right. I mean, the argument of should we say, the Southgate supporters is that, well, look at what he's done. Look, he's got us to a semi-final of the World Cup. He's got us into the final of the. I know we haven't won nothing, but in terms of him being a successful manager, in that respect, I think he's right. I think what we have to do is go back and look at them run-ins that we had, especially the one in the World Cup. I mean, that was really it was like getting a bye.
We lost, we lost 3 games in that, Gal. We lost twice to Belgium.
Yeah.
We lost to Croatia, but Belgium beat us in the group and the playoff, third place playoff, which was a nothing game. And I think we drew penalties. We only really beat Sweden, Panama, and someone else.
Spectacular. And like I say, they pulled the plum route. Had we gone in the other route, we wouldn't have got to semi-final.
Yeah.
In my view.
Other World Cups and other tournaments where we've missed out with other managers, it's always been a little bit of bad luck. Gaz has just been inches away, a penalty shootout where but the Italy game, we should have won it. He's had no bad luck in tournaments, Southgate, has he? We haven't gone out through bad luck, if you know what I mean. Penalties was a fine line, but But also, Gareth, I think we're going to move on to England. I don't know. Sorry, Nigel. Anything else you want to say about Southgate before we move on to the rest of the England?
No, I just you look at the tempo that Man City and Liverpool play at, and then you go to England matches and you don't see the same tempo.
No.
It's just for me. I'm not anti Southgate as a person. I just think that they're so negative. I got fed up with watching England go 1-0 up and then sit back and try and defend the lead and end up conceding a goal. It was just the same story all the time. And I don't think he's changed one bit. I think he's got good players in there. You know, Foden's pace, skill, Sterling. You've got Grealish who gets his free kicks and stuff. You know, we've got good players in there, but I don't think he's positive enough with them. I just think he's quite happy to sit back on a 1-0 lead.
Yeah. Positive note is Bellingham. I thought Bellingham looked very good. He grew into that game for such a young kid. Jude Bellingham, the ex-Birmingham player. He looked very far above his years. But you made a great point in, Nigel, about the pace of the game. And that's maybe why our players don't look so good internationally, because the Premier League is 100 miles an hour, shutting down. But that's what I've never understood with international football. Why has it always got to be, especially in the 80s and not, we used to like slow pace, knock it along the back, slow build-up. Why aren't we going like Premier League? That team's playing to our strength. I don't know.
And probably, Dan, in saying that, that probably is a benefit to the European clubs, because their football's pace is different, slower than ours. So we're in that comment, you're almost saying that England go with the flow with the European pace of football. So if you've got a different pace that would rip them to pieces, then why wouldn't you abuse that advantage? And that's why Southgate is not ever going to get us anywhere, because he doesn't know how to. And quite frankly, I don't like him as a person either. But before we say any more, just to say we're getting some new people, a lot of new people commenting this week. Great. Just want to say a big evening to Craig. How are you? Up the gas?
Hello, Craig.
Great to see Mike. He's obviously in Hammer, making comments there, and some others that we've had on. And Damo's up there putting some comments in. So, and Wayne Adams. So, yeah, great to see some different people in. And we're here every Thursday. And, please support it, share it, and everything else. And Dan, a little bit later on, we've got a big show next week. That we'll discuss with Jason coming on about his new book. Please keep the support going. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Yeah,
no, cheers, mate. And I think we why is it, Nigel? Did you say with international football that England have always played it a slow? Why does it have to be that way? Do they teach you that when using under-21s? Is it a slow build-up or?
No, well, I was playing for Watford when I was in the under-21s, and we was very direct. We scored goals, we conceded goals, but we scored more than we conceded. But like I said, again, I'm going back to if Klopp or Guardiola were in charge of the national side, the training sessions they had would be more fast tempo. There'd be up-tempo sessions, and they'd get drummed into them. This is how I want you to play. And I don't think Southgate's got that in him. I just think he's, the amount of times we started well. We always started well in the Euros. And sometimes you're not out of the boxes and you concede early. But we seem to go ahead quite early. And then it was just, here we go again. Let's go backwards. Let's go back to the keeper, go out to the full-backs, back to the centre-backs, into midfield, back to the centre-backs. And that's all it ever was. All the excitement of going 1-0 up just disappeared because you knew that was how they were going to play after that. So I personally, I don't want him out just because I don't like him. I want to get a manager in that's going to sort of take it to another level. Yeah. And I think the only two you've got at the moment over here are the two that finish winners and runners up, Klopp and Guardiola.
Yeah. I mean, someone mentioned Graham Potter, but I think that's still a way off. He's quite they play a very sort of a passing game and good cultured football. And then you've got Eddie Howe as well. But I was going to say another thing about, Southgate with his substitutions. He didn't bring on, Bowen was good. Bowen played quite well for the West Ham player the other night, but he didn't bring him on till was it 78 minutes? He's just so slow to react. And like the other team were making subs that Germany 1-0 up. They was making subs and he was just sort of standing there dawdling. It's just frustrating.
I've got to say that I thought the referee had a good game for the England match.
He was excellent.
He's he let a lot. These players are collapsing as soon as they're getting touched, and he weren't giving the fouls. And I think it was good because maybe it'll start getting to some of the players that they can't keep going down because you're not going to get a foul all the time. And he let a lot of it go, kept the game flowing. I thought he'd had a really good game, and hopefully if the refereeing carries on like that into next season, we'll cut out all this diving. And
it was really refreshing, wasn't it, to see? Yeah. After the first couple, we thought, bloody hell, he's letting it. And I think the players realised, didn't they? Yeah. Halfway through.
They could go in for a proper tackle, like a hard tackle. We used to call it going in hard, and you can't do that at the moment. But the other night, there was a few more tackles went in that he was letting go. So
the only thing he got wrong, I thought, was the penalty. Me and Gary agreed. I don't think the Harry Kane.
Yeah, do you know what?
I didn't think it was a penalty.
I mean, the angles that we were... I mean, they maybe had a better angle than we did on the VAR. I don't know. But, I mean, what really baffled me was why did the German fella genuinely tripped? It wasn't deliberate, but he got a yellow card. And I thought, okay. But when I looked at that, the German player definitely tripped. It wasn't deliberate, that in my view. And from the angles that they were shown on the telly, I actually couldn't see any contact either, but it would have put Kane off. So maybe that would be enough to warrant the penalty.
See, the thing is, though, if he's the last man between Kane and the goal, and he brings him down the penalty box, he's got to get a yellow card. I think that's the rules now, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he's,
even if it wasn't
intentional, even though it wasn't,
even if it's
not intentional, And a few people said it was offside. It wasn't. It came off the German player as it was passed through. But maybe that's it. It was unintentional, so he's brought him down. But I suppose it is. Maybe it is still a foul. So maybe. But me and you, Gareth, I don't know if we want to say this, but I'm so pissed up with England and pissed up with the old stuff we're going to chat about in a second. I was arguing that it wasn't a penalty. I was arguing with someone on the England supporters page, and I was saying no, it weren't. And I thought, hang on a second, I'm trying to say it weren't a penalty, and I'm a massive England fan.
Do you know what? I think the thing was, Dan, and I guess you were looking at it from the same angle I was. That angle that you were seeing on the TV, it was definitely showing no contact. Or I could not see the contact. Maybe it put Kane off. Yeah. But I couldn't see contact. There probably was.
There was contact, but
the angle I was seeing, I couldn't see it, and that's why I was like, well, hang on a minute, I can't see the contact. Yeah. But maybe that was just like I say, the angle that the wonderful production of Channel 4 was showing.
Oh God, that was shocking, wasn't it?
Mate,
I've never seen
Channel. What the hell are Channel 4 doing having that on there? Gee, Michael Owen, mate, isn't he? Doesn't he need he needs a personality, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Presenters weren't the best, were they?
Oh, Nigel, I think you commented on something I put up. It was awful. I mean, the Hungary game, it was just that Michael Owen and that the Lady England player and the lady presenter. And it just felt like they didn't know what to say next at some points when they were on the pitch. Because at the Hungary game, they was on the pitch presenting, weren't they? I just thought, oh, my God, this is really embarrassing. I don't know about anything else. It was really embarrassing. And I think they had Joe Cole on, didn't they, for the Germany game?
Yeah, he's a bit better.
Which improved it, you know what I mean? A little bit, but very poor production, in my view.
Yeah. Right, I think we're going to move on to the press's reaction to trying to say outright. So Matt Lawton at the Times, he'd done a documentary early in the season. I think it was at Forest Derby, but it's about football.
Leicester.
That was it. It's about football and creeping back in, and we all know it as this season for various reasons we've spoken about before. It's a social thing after COVID. We've sort of covered that, but there was 8 arrests the day before the game. One for letting a flare off in a hotel room. We've all done it. I'm only joking. We haven't done that. But
no, I haven't.
I've took a pair of flares off in a hotel room.
Nigel might have done it in his England days. But...
no, it's good for
But Nazi salutes, alleged Nazi salutes against the German police. No place for that at all. Whether it's in jest, you just got to be fucking stupid to do it in this day and age. Nothing to even say about that. Just
where are they getting these flares from, though?
Oh, I imagine you can buy them in the shops out there.
Well,
mate,
you can be a problem at sporting events. Why aren't police or the government closing them down before matches?
The problem is, Nigel, you can get them anywhere you want. Now, in Europe, they seem to let them use them. If you go to Celtic Park, they allow the Green Army or whatever they're called, Green Ultras, they let them use them. So you've got this double standard in Europe. Not in this country. In England, we don't allow it, full stop. I know they sneak
do allow it full stop, Chaz, because every bloody ground in England's had a flare thrown on anyway.
Yeah, but not anywhere near like what you see in Europe. This is the double standard. So when you got fans in Europe where you see that they're flaring up with maybe 100 flares at once, it's like it's a double standard that shouldn't be. I mean,
100 flares or one flare, guys. If they're illegal, they shouldn't be allowed on.
What I'm saying, double standards is in Europe they don't seem to they allow them. In this country they don't, and you're absolutely right. You can get them online.
People are getting into the grounds with them, though, guys. That's what I'm saying. It's not, they can say we don't allow them, but they're getting into grounds.
Oh yeah. Look at Liverpool in the FA Cup final.
Yeah, obviously they're taking them into grounds. They're not getting searched or anything like that. Now you've got the situation with Charlton. They're still going to say, is he going to get done for throwing that flare back in? Well, if they're letting them in and they're saying it's okay to bring flares in because they're not dangerous, then what was dangerous about him chucking it back? That would be his argument.
I mean, I've been to grounds where they have the sniffer dogs that are supposed to be able to sniff out a pyrotechnic. I've been to a few grounds where they have them, and they are, but again, I guess you ain't going to have enough dogs to police the whole country on a Saturday afternoon. Searches, you're absolutely right. I'm not sure what they do with searches now. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know. Not every club does full searches on everyone, and I think this may be how they're getting them in.
But there wasn't any flares in the ground in the German game, was there? I don't remember seeing that many flares.
Not inside the one. No, I didn't see any. I see plenty of Germans throwing plastic cups at the players
in the corner.
And not. They did nothing.
Press haven't mentioned that. Nothing.
But even the authorities on the night, they didn't put in any stewards. It was a constant barrage of objects coming down in that one corner to the England players from the German fans.
If England fans have done that
in plastic cups, but like Nigel always says, it might not be a plastic cup on one occasion, and the guy gets hurt. So there was no effort from the German authorities to stop that either. I thought it was absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, same thing at Watford when we played Levski, Bulgaria.
Yeah.
It's before Will Foster got the second goal. I was taking the corner, and they were throwing bottles onto the ground, so. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, for me, if a fan runs on and headbutts the player, the CCTV camera manages to pick him out. He gets arrested, gets prosecuted. Well, why aren't they doing that with the people that are throwing flares?
Yeah.
Is it the same amount of effort for flares as it is for people running on? It's double standards, mate. I think there's a lot more goes on. They've got to take it more serious.
I think I think with CCTV, because it's coming out of a crowd, and I've witnessed this. The individuals that have these flares are very clever when they lob them. They sort of get themselves in a position where they're sort of shrouded by people around them. I've even seen people do it and it make it look like someone else has done it. And I've seen at Bournemouth someone get arrested for something they didn't do. It was nothing to do with them. But this arsehole had done it in a way that he couldn't get caught, but it looked like someone else had done it. And they arrested that someone else as well. I'm not sure CCTV is always capable of picking them out.
But even stopping the flares, you get people throwing coins for you. Yeah, you can't take someone's money change out of their pocket, can you? Or before you go into the ground.
Do we see that? Well, I don't think we see that anymore, do we? I mean...
Oh, yeah.
We do.
FA Cup, Palace semi-final, there was fans throwing some coins a bit. But this was in the hotel room when it went off.
Yeah, but I mean, on this though, and I'm going to criticise this journalist because I do believe that the England fans really bum deal prior to the game from the British media, and I include all the TV stations, including all these supposed Talk TV and all that, who are supposed breath of fresh air and all that. All of them, they all jumped on this bandwagon. There was obviously 8 arrested people. for various instances, like an idiot letting that off in a hotel, stupid idiots going, doing a Zeke Heil to the German police, which in itself wrong, let's face it, but mate, you'd rather see that than people throwing a bottle at the police. And then there was, I think, some drunken disorderly, which you would see on a Saturday night in every town centre. But at the end of the day, there was not any overall major issues going on. There wasn't in the ground. There was
on the day and the night of the game, there was nothing. Nothing.
There was lots of England fans in the Germany. Now, what pissed me off, and I truly, if people read what I put up on my Facebook, what really pissed me off with that Lawton fella, Matt Lawton, and a lot of these so-called pundits in this game who think they know everything and actually know fuck all. But at the end of the day, right, I've been to a number of England games where I've been able to purchase tickets from the stadium where the game's being held. So I've been to Stade de France and I've been to the Amsterdam Arena, where I was able to purchase tickets, 4 or 5 tickets each time from them respective stadiums direct for the England games in the French end and in the Dutch end respectively, along with thousands of other England fans. And this is going on years ago. This isn't new. 2017, I think I went to the France game around that period, and I got the tickets from them. And we were in the French end. Fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. It was really good. We had a right laugh with the French. There were thousands of England fans in there. Like that is for most games that England go to. And it's been going on for donkey's years. And it's been going on without any trouble. We're not talking about 30, 40 years ago. We're talking about the last, say, 10, 20 years. You don't get much trouble at England games like you used to. All right, you've got a few exceptions like what happened at Marseille with the Russians and so forth, but at the end of the day, in the grounds, you've not seen it. And what really pissed me off was this bloke who reminds me of a reporter from the 80s who we know when England ever went abroad, they would pay people money to wind the fans up so that they could get a story. We know it happened. We've seen it happen. We knew that used to happen. And this guy reminds me of one of them pricks. He really does. It's like he's sensationalising things. And they wrote the England fans off before anything had ever happened today, this week in Germany. And there was nothing actually went on. There was no problems, no arrests, other than them 8 for what I would deem as rather trivial matters compared to violence.
8 out of 6,000. I worked out 99.8. 99% of the fans, and on the day
there was actually no trouble. That's the point. When you've got a crowd of 60,000 people, or you've got 9,000 fans, 8,000 fans travelling over to Germany, do you know what? The law of averages says there will be someone who'll get pissed and be stupid or make stupid just exactly what we see. Right, but what I cannot accept at all is the fact that this journalist then went out of his way to then go to buy a ticket for the German end and then get it and then go running to the German authorities and say, you need to sort this out. You're going to have all this trouble in your end. You need to, and they went then and went on to then cancel a lot of these tickets that have been purchased by England fans. And all I can say to this arsehole is this is not new. England fans have been doing this for donkey years without any trouble. What is your problem, mate? Was your dad a journalist in the 80s, mate, doing England games? Because it really pissed me off. It really did. I thought it was disgraceful. And all these presenters jumping on it and all.
But he put it on Twitter. He retweeted it. The Sun was retweeting the same story 24 hours later when the game was on. Something happened but there was not one of them came out and said, you know what, England fans are brilliantly well behaved all day, night against the biggest rivals. There was none of them come out and said it. So it doesn't sell papers, does it? It's clickbait. You look at his Twitter feed; it was all people from abroad. A lot of Scousers on there giving England fans stick goals, saying it's never your fault and all that stuff. But it was just clickbait, and that's what the media is now, though, isn't it? It don't sell papers. So
I must admit, very disappointed with our gutter press and media again. I thought, a time when
There's some nice
the
pictures of
Liverpool
England fans,
fans were accused too quickly, and everyone was guilty of that, and probably including us to a degree, because you all of a sudden that like Liverpool fans were at fault for doing this and doing that, and it wasn't their fault, and maybe jumped on, and but this is jumping on before anything's even happened.
Yeah.
So the Liverpool fans are going, you know how we feel now, and England fans never. Liverpool fans, you're sick to death of getting the blame for everything after an event. This is before the event, and then anyway, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Right, we'll have a little bit of fun. This is all gone over the media, but this is cricket. This is a cricket season. Just line it up a bit. We'll just play it.
Mate, that was a strong cup of Bovril.
I think he had 7 points in 5 minutes, didn't he? I think that was the story behind it. But that was at the cricket. But yeah, I mean, I suppose that is English behaviour. It was fun. It was harmless. Well, not harmless for him. He got stretchered off, didn't he? But,
I can imagine he must have had a bump on his head. I mean,
yeah,
but it did look like he was drinking a cup of cocoa or something, didn't it? It didn't look like he'd had a beer in his hand.
Yeah.
Can we touch on the next week's show a little bit there, Dan? Because we've got Jason Morgan coming on, who's the author of a new book. It's all about the buzz, the understanding of terrace culture, which I think fits in a lot with some of the things we talk about. Great book. It's not what you think. Don't think it's a hooligan football book. It covers all aspects of culture, from fashion to tradition to culture. It will touch on that as well. It touches on everything, and the reviews are immense, and it is an understanding of terrace culture, which maybe this book could be bought by a lot of journalists and a lot of TV presenters, maybe, because mate, they ain't got a Scooby-Doo understanding. The understanding of, shall we call it, the terrace culture, which I bang on about a lot. They just want everyone to turn up and eat their popcorn and shout rah rah rah, and the terrace culture that is there needs to be understood. And today's increase in football disturbances maybe would be better dealt with if these people in their ivory towers had a better understanding of what football means to a certain element, of the die-hard football fan. And I'm not on about hooligans here, and this book is not a hooligan book. Please, I've had a good chat with Jason, and I think he's right. The opening paragraph is a Liverpool supporter talking about culture and fashion from the day. It's a good book. It's available in all good bookshops now. It's available.
It's on Amazon.
It's available on Amazon. It's called "It's All About the Buzz" by Jason Morgan. A very, very good read, and it's had contributions from different types of fans from up and down the country. And he's coming on the show next week to sit with us and talk whatever topics, but also a bit of an insight into his book, so that we look forward to, and I think that will be a bestseller.
Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to that. I've done 2 chapters, really good book so far. Looking forward to that next week.
It's racing up, but I think he wanted to get a few things. I think the point about next week's show will be allowing the opportunity to express what he wanted to get from the book, I guess, what the message is, but it'd be interesting anyway. But yeah, so he's going to join us next week, people. So make sure you join us for that. And yeah, he will join us on the panel as well that day. And we will look to do a more in-depth interview with him later on in the summer. But next week he'll be part of the panel, but we will be touching on his book. From Amazon, folks. Get it. Looks like a cracking read. I've not done it yet, but I will be.
No, it is good so far. Right, next topic. Premier League, they announced today the Premier League clubs have unanimously voted to maintain a £30 cap on away ticket prices for next 3 seasons, and it's now written in their laws.
Good.
It was so that's brilliant. And Greg Douglas, he said that maybe the Championship clubs should do this as well. When he's right, it's because it's more expensive in the Championship to go away, isn't it? It's
Yeah, the Championship. Yeah, I completely agree with Greg. I mean, next season I can probably put money on who are going to be the dear clubs, and one of them be Norwich.
That's what he said.
I remember rightly, Norwich in the Championship were charging 45 quid. Leeds are another one. You're over 40 quid for a ticket in the Championship. There are a few more out there, you know.
But
so
there's one great example.
It's definitely dearer to go away in the Championship than it is to go away in Premier League, which just seems bizarre.
I think we covered it a few weeks back. Reading, they do it £20 for away fans, which is great. But this season, they've said they're only going to do it to teams who reciprocate it in the return fixture or commit to it before they play them. So that'll show up. That'll name and shame people, wouldn't it?
Because when we was in the Premier League, when we first went in, there was exactly that going on. So we had deals with Leicester, with Newcastle, where it was like, I think Leicester was 20 quid. In actual fact, certain clubs in the Premier League, when they brought this £30 thing in, actually got more expensive. Newcastle was £25 for an away ticket. And then it went up to 30 with a cap. So in some areas you lost, but then you didn't have to pay 55 quid to go to Old Trafford. Yeah,
and I think it's the best way to give something back to fans, especially away fans who travel the length and breadth of the country. They're the most loyal fans. I know not everyone can make it. That doesn't mean they're misloyal, but at least they're the ones who get the biggest discounts because of what they've given to
the struggle. I think people are going to struggle to go football next year. I think we're in for a really bad couple of years.
Yeah,
I think cost of living. I think football might need to have a real good look at itself. And
all the petrol, mate.
It's killing me, Nigel. Absolutely destroying me, that petrol, because I do courier work, don't I? It's killing me, mate. To be honest, some days I'm not even bothering earning any money because the jobs that are coming through are not worth doing. So football might need to take a deep breath. And I just would like to say one other thing. I know I go on about player wages. You all know, regular watchers know what I'm like. But, you know, I just don't know how much longer I personally can even support football if it continues where everyone is in so much hardship. And all I'm hearing is, they're going to double this player's wages from £100,000 to £200,000 a fucking week to keep him at the club. And I'm here and I'm thinking, it's just not right. It's not right. How can, in this day and age where we're all struggling people struggling to put food on their table, and this, sorry guys, I know, I'm dreadful, man.
This came up last week, 1980. I don't know if you can see it, but it was a ticket price. Season ticket prices in 1980 compared to now. But back then they said that was crazy. So the most expensive seat back then was Nottingham Forest, believe it or not, £5, 1980. I've done the calculation with inflation, the inflation calculator. That rhymed, didn't it? And today's money, with inflation, it should be £17.33.
Mate, when I used to go to Watford back in 1980, right, I think I used to pay 75p on the train from Milton Keynes to Watford, right? And it was called, for anyone listening who lived in Milton Keynes who moved up from London, it was called the London Night Rider, because obviously the big population, it was, you know, everyone was moving up from London. It was London Overspill, so they were doing these deals, and you could pay 75p for a night rider for a night game, and it was about 90p on a Saturday or something. Return on a train, right? You'd get to Watford, and I think I was paying something stupid like 75p as an under 16 to get in the ground.
Yeah, terracing £1.80 it was at Watford. No, £1.50. £2 for a seat.
Yeah, £1.50. I remember one.
52 quid for a season ticket.
Now I remember Nigel used to get in free. I used to have to pay. But I remember in 82 going to Liverpool and Man United, and I remember paying to go and see Nigel play. I remember paying £1.20 at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And we lost 3-1. And then Man United, I think it was like £1. It might have been £1.40 at Man United at Old Trafford.
But Gal, they're saying that was crazy back then, like expensive. So the Arsenal season ticket was £84, which in today's money is £291. But they charge nearly two grand now. So
well, you know what?
Your point is what's made it go up, and this gets to your point, is players' wages have pushed everything up. That's what the crux of it, isn't it?
I just feel sorry for Nigel, mate. He was born 20 years too fucking late. Otherwise, he'd be a millionaire.
At the end of the day, lads, it's Sky have caused all this.
Yeah.
The amount of money they're ploughing into the football grounds, the PFA, and all that. That's allowing. That's started to allow the clubs to put in bigger bids for players, offer them wages that they were never ever going to get anywhere else. And it's just, it's the first £100 million player. Now it's like you're talking about 150 million. It's because of the amount of money that Sky are putting into the game. They're showing matches virtually every night now. So they're making loads of money, and they're causing all this because of the amount of money.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, I know I go on about the play, but it's like any one of us, if we was in a job and we're being offered silly money, we'd take it or we'd push for it. We're only human. I do get where you're coming from. Absolutely, you're on the money, because if the money's made available, you're going to go for it, and that's what players are doing. And you are right. It's just,
and Sky are making money from it, obviously.
I mean, realistically, again, I will come back. Like I said to you earlier today, Dan, the footballing authorities are a lot to blame for it as well, because they could have put in some regulatory things over money, over agents and all this, and they didn't. They just let it run roughshod, and this is why we are where we are. And there's not enough money in our game everywhere else other than the Premier League. So everywhere else everyone's like trying to make ends meet to keep their clubs afloat. So had at the very beginning of all this, there'd been some sort of regulator. I know the government, we've had this conversation, are supposed to be bringing in a regulator now. And it's such a sad state of affairs that it's come to that. But had the FA and the other authorities in football gone, right, okay, yeah, we're going to get lots of money coming into this sport, so we need to make sure that clubs run properly, because let's face it, I don't think there's a Premier League club, maybe one or two, I know Norwich was one of them, that don't run at a loss. They spend more. It's only because of the sugar daddies that they actually now, I mean, Chelsea and all them, Man City, they run at a loss. And then sugar daddy has to bail it out every time. So, so there is a lot of blame that needs to be levied at the authorities in the game, because had they taken a grip of this at the beginning, made sure that there was a very good return from all this money being generated, that it didn't go to players ridiculously, and was able to go back into support the rest of the football pyramid. I'm not
the only people making money, Gail, the people who are running the game and the players, they're the only people making big money out of this. The rest of it from down.
They're just
everyone else. Where's the fans? We don't want to make money out of it, but we're suffering.
It's too late now, because
this is what happened
20 years ago.
This is what's happening today, and you're going to see a lot more of this. Walton Casuals Football Club, formed in 1948, South West London, just up there. They've gone today out of business. They couldn't find anyone to buy them. Famous old little non-league club, gone, wraps up. Shocking.
Shame.
Guys, I'm not going to be rude, but I'm going to have to say goodbye.
We're wrapping it up now, Nigel.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, mate. That's sad, mate, but we are going to see a lot more of it.
Yeah. But I think we are at full time, aren't we now?
We're over. We've done extra time, Dan.
Yeah, extra time. But lovely to see you, Nigel, again.
Yeah, good to see you, Nigel. Remember, everyone, catch Nigel on his Mixcloud, 9 o'clock, Nigel.
Yeah, I'll be on at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, catch Callie, 9 o'clock every night except Saturday night.
There we go. Mixcloud.
Unless you're in Derby, and then you can pop into, I forgot the name of the
I'm not there no more, mate.
He's gone.
Oh, you're not?
No, I finished after the Blackpool gig.
Oh, was that true that the pub he was leaving, the landlord?
Who? No. No, he's still there. But we left on good terms. It's just it's not working out for me going over there on a Saturday now. So
are you doing mixed cloud Saturday nights then now?
Yeah, I do mixed clouds virtually most nights.
Every night.
Again, like, you know, if you're getting off of jobs DJing, with petrol going up,
I know.
not even going to make the job worth it sometimes.
No, you're absolutely right.
Easy to find, www.mixcloud.com/Nigel Callaghan.
He plays banging tunes. Yeah. He does play some fantastic range of music. Nigel, sorry if I'm blowing smoke up your arse, but it is good what you do. Yeah. It is fantastic. So please jump on there and give Nigel some support.
All right, guys.
Have a good show, mate. Take care.
Enjoy it.
Right, Gary, we'll be back on next week with the author.
Jason Morgan on next week. Give us a bit of an insight into his book and the charity as well, because the thing about Jason's book is that he's not done this for money or anything. It's all for charity. It's all for the charity, mates. The charity. So I can't wait to get the inside on this book and everything next week. Can't wait. Hopefully Jason's watching, and we can't wait to see you next week, mate.
Right. Well, we'll see you all then. That's it from us.
Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen. Take care. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next week.
Subscribe.